Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles right here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, when it comes to buying and selling, whether it be coins or whether it be currency or whatever the case is, there are certain guidebooks that'll give you an idea of what you can pay or what you can expect to pay. And that's what I use with this particular book here. This is a guidebook that I use that gives me an idea of which notes are worth more, which notes are worth hundreds of dollars versus which notes are worth thousands of dollars. When it comes down to buying the individual note, I am still left to my own to determine the exact worth of that particular note. I do use my book as a range, but much like most of you use your red book when it comes to buying coins. But you'll also know that red book is essentially the retail, the highest you should pay. Now, when I look at my price guide for currency, that's also how I think of it. So it's not the exact price I want to pay. I want to pay less than what that is. But at least that guide gives me an idea what I should pay. Now, the reason I bring that up is because what do dealers use? Well, dealers, when it comes to currency, use something called the green sheet. And what I would recommend to you is if you're in pretty good with your local coins shop, I would ask them if they have an old one of these laying around. Prices don't change that much. They tell us that all the time. You don't need to buy a new red book every year because you're just not going to find that many changes from one year to the other. The green sheet is put out on a monthly basis. And there's a couple interesting articles in here, but for the most part, you're just talking price guide. So yeah, the green sheet is what the dealers will actually use when it comes to buying and selling their stuff. And if you can get your hands on one of these, even if it's, this one's 7 months old already here, yeah. So I mean, even if it's a few months old, it doesn't matter. It gives you an idea of what dealers tend to pay for certain notes in certain conditions. It's a handy thing to have with you, not necessarily to try to get it for whatever price is here, because that's probably what they paid, but to give you a more realistic view as to what they've got in a particular note. Therefore, you know where their starting price is going to be. So that's my suggestion for this week. Even if you offer them, $10 or so for an old green sheet that's been laying around, that'll pay itself off in spades down the line. I got some other hints that are coming up in future videos that'll help explain that one as well. All right, so I've got my $1,000 in singles here. Let's take a peek at what I found this week. Found a Where's George. I have never seen a Where's George like this. Where'sGeorge.com, sunglasses or glasses on George, and hey, it's beer money. You can't go wrong with that. Where's George? Beer money. And would that make those beer goggles? Probably. All right, what else do I got? I found an alternator. This one is 4 for the alternator. You've got 46, 49, 49, and 40. So that was kind of neat. Trinary here, 5, 6s, and 7s. Kind of neat with the 777 and then the 666. I know trinaries aren't worth much, but I'm determined to find 2 with the exact same serial number. Another trinary here. This is 5s, 7s, and 8s. Kind of close to a repeater, but, well, not really. Let's see here. 2s, 4s, and 8s on this trinary. 0s, 3s, and 9s here. Really good shape on that one. This one is quads, quad 5s, and it's got the 5th to start off. Another quad 5s as well on this particular note. Quad 5s again. I note, always checking your I notes, making sure it's not a star. Quad 6s on this one. Nice shape on that one as well. Then we get to the stars that I found. 2017 star, J note, Kansas City, a little bit rough. Another one starting with a couple zeros, so yeah, maybe, you never know. I will check all these as well. Another one with a couple zeros, and it's in really good shape. Another one with a few zeros to start with. Also 2017. Still 2017's not quite as nice. I try not to ask what the stains are on bills. Sometimes some questions are better left unasked. 2013 star. Another 2013 star. This one's a little rough. Same with this one. But you never know. So I still will check all my stars. I do them all at once because I can go through them relatively quickly. It takes me about 20 minutes to go through about 200. Now, this note was in extremely good condition. Normally, I used to save 1999 and older. I've bumped that to 2001 and older, but this is a 2003 that's just in really, really good shape. Yeah, it's Chicago, one of the more popular ones, but I'll double check that in my book just to see where it comes. This one is 2001. So once again, that's officially 20 years, so I'm going to start saving these. This is from Philadelphia, so that's not one of the more common ones. I will double check that one. Another 2001. This one is Boston. 1999, a little rough. Another 99. Did manage to find quite a few of the 99s. See, the 2001s weren't out that long, so that's why those are, well, they're worth putting away because there's just not a whole lot of them. 1995 starts our web note potentials. You know the web notes when they only have one little digit there, no letter. Also, web notes, just so you know, aren't going to have this little designation right here. This will all be blank on a web note. So that's an easy way to spot one, just if there's no marking here at all. Let's see. 1995 as well, not a web. Another 95. Another 95. This one is from the X series. Now remember, with these letters on this side where the X is, the first letter matches the Federal Reserve. But as far as this letter, this starts as an A. Then they have to print 96 million notes, and then they'll change it to a B. And then they print 96 more million, essentially 100 million to get to C, and then D, and then E. And this made it all the way to X. So that gives you an idea of how many notes were printed for this particular series. Huge, huge number of notes. If you can get to X, they've gotten to Y a couple times. I don't believe they've gotten to Z. So yeah, some people like collecting the X notes. This is another I note from 1995. Another 95, not a web. This is a 1981A. Another note that is a little tougher to find in circulation. 81s are pretty tough. 81As are pretty tough. You just don't see a whole lot of these because of their age. Nobody bothered to save these. Everybody saved the 1963, 1963B notes. But by the time you get to the 80s, people weren't really saving notes. So yeah, finding one of these in circulation is a great pull. And that was the 81A. I also came across a 1981. That is the oldest note in the group. Chicago, so too bad. But it's in really nice shape, so hopefully this will upgrade in my binder. And I did find one worth putting in a sleeve. I found a repeater. 7119. 7119. Found a repeater in the wild. So yeah, I'm still finding stuff. There's stuff out there to be found. Repeaters generally are going to sell for, starting probably close to $20 or so. This one's in pretty good shape. So yeah, whenever you can get 10 to 20 times face value on a note, that's great. I don't actually sell my notes. I keep them. I'm a collector. I'm not a business. So yeah, when I find cool stuff, that goes into my collection. You're not going to see me putting a whole bunch of stuff on eBay unless I start getting duplicates or start doing upgrades, things like that. Then I'll let go of some of my stuff. But yeah, that was my finder of the week. 7119, 7119. Found a repeater in circulation. All right, so that's what I found this week. What did I pull from my box? Well, this week, I pulled something that I find very interesting. You might find pretty interesting as well. And the best part is it's not expensive at all. Let me show you what I've got. This is a 1935 silver certificate. You probably have a dozen of these in your collection. These are not hard to get at all. Now, what makes this silver certificate interesting, take a quick peek at the back, you'll notice that in 1935 they did not have the motto, "In God We Trust," on there. 1935, they actually made a bunch of different series, 35, 35A, B, C. They actually went all the way up to H. But what makes the 35G series so neat to have is what I pointed out to start with. It does not say "In God We Trust" on the back. Well, why does that matter? Well, this is why it matters. This is also a 1935G. And this 1935G, when I turn it over, does say "In God We Trust" on the back. Yes, in the 1935G series, you have two different kinds of notes to find. You have a 35G with no motto and a 35G with the motto. So if I turn both of these over, you're going to see "In God We Trust" on this one and no "In God We Trust" there. Now you'd think that would be a big deal. You would think people would be stocking up and hoarding these bills, or at the very least making sure they have one of each in their collection like this to show. But very few people realize that that is out there because this is not worth $10,000. To be honest, these two notes are probably in the $5 range. That's it, $5, and you can have one of these. Now, if you did not know that the 1935G was the transition, then you probably don't have one of each. Well, how many other people don't know about that? And like I said, their price isn't that much, which means, at $5 per, you can scoop up a bunch of these. And as people start to realize, hey, that's pretty neat that you can find two different versions of those, well, that's where interest and that's when demand starts to come in, and that's when you see prices start to go up. But this right here is an opportunity for people to pick up a note that's really cheap, and, well, further down the line, this could be something that a lot of people are looking for. Coins are where everybody is seemed to be focusing, and here's one of those little oddities in currency that you may be interested, especially when for $10 you can have both of these. All right, so that's what I've got for you guys this week, the 1935G silver certificates, both with and without the motto. So if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading your guys' comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next week.